Welcome to our deep dive into Africa's stand against terrorism, a crucial topic that's gaining global attention. Recently, African leaders united in extending condolences to Russia after the tragic Moscow terror attack, showcasing a shared stance against violence. But what strategies are being discussed to combat terrorism in Africa, the new epicenter of such activities? How can regional cooperation and partnerships play a role in curbing these threats? Join us as we unravel these pressing questions and explore Africa's path towards a safer future. What are your thoughts on Africa's counterterrorism efforts? Share your insights below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay informed with our latest updates, so be with us until the end. In the aftermath of a horrific terror attack in Moscow that claimed the lives of more than 130 individuals, African leaders have come forward to extend their condolences and support to Russia during this time of mourning. The tragedy smashed into at the Crocus City Concert Hall, leaving a toll of death and sorrow that has vibrated across borders, reaching the hearts and offices of various African heads of state and officials who have condemned the violence and offered their sympathies. Key figures have all voiced their grief over the Moscow terror attack. They expressed not only their shock and sadness, but also a strong condemnation of the act of terror. They emphasized solidarity with Russia, signaling a united stance against terrorism that transcends geographical and political boundaries. The widespread response from African leaders to the Moscow terror attack demonstrates a profound sense of shared humanity and the universal rejection of terrorism. The outreach from these leaders underlines the importance of international solidarity in times of crisis and the collective hope for a world free from such acts of violence. The condolences and condemnations issued are not mere formalities, but reflect an earnest alignment against threats to peace and security experienced globally. After Russia, there comes Africa with the most number of terrorist activities in recent years. Africa realized that it has become the world's epicenter of terrorism. African leaders discussed anti-terrorism solutions on the continent during a high-level security summit in the Nigerian capital Abuja Monday, amid a rise in terror attacks. Leaders at the summit hope to change that through regional cooperation and partnerships. Terrorism and violent extremism are spreading at an alarming rate in Africa. According to a new study by the African Center for Strategic Studies, acts of terror increased by more than 100,000% in the last 2 decades, despite local and foreign intervention. The report says more than 23,000 people were killed in Africa last year, a 20% increase compared to 2022. The evolving nature of terrorism demands an active, energetic, and coordinated response that exceeds national borders and individual efforts. Authorities say the threat of terrorism in Africa is intensified by the illegal arms trade, unemployment, poverty, poor policing, marginalization, and political instability, even for more than a decade. And more recently, armed gangs known as bandits have been making matters worse. Nigeria's security advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, said these factors need to be addressed. Effective strategies require comprehensive approaches that address these drivers, promotes socioeconomic development, enhance governance, resolve conflict, and strengthen regional and international cooperation. Acts of terror in Africa are largely concentrated in the Sahel, Somalia, the Lake Chad Basin, North Africa, and Mozambique. Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso were absent from the summit due to coup-related sanctions imposed by ECOWAS and the African Union. According to the African Center for the Study and Research on Terrorism, ACS-ART, Africa witnessed an average of 8 terror-related incidents and 44 daily casualties in 2023. The toll included 7,000 civilians and 4,000 military personnel killed in attacks. Nigeria's National Security Advisor and organizer of the summit, Nuhu Ribadu, emphasized the urgent need to combat terrorism in Africa. He highlighted the diverse threats posed by terrorist groups and stressed the importance of integrated security strategies. These groups exploit local vulnerabilities and contribute to ongoing instability, necessitating integrated security strategies that combine military, economic, and regional cooperation efforts. For 15 years, Nigeria has battled a spate of violent attacks from insurgent groups that have fixed their grips across paths of Africa's troubled Sahel region and leaving thousands dead. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu urged the proper establishment and strengthening of a regional standby military force. This force, initially proposed in response to the July 2023 coup in Niger, would act as a preventive against large-scale terrorist operations. However, political instability in the Sahel region has hindered regional unity. Critical need for cooperation among states and defense and security forces to effectively address security threats. Before we proceed further, discussing United Nations support for Africa in fighting terrorism and their counterterrorism strategies, I'd like to hear from you. Are you finding this video informative? Feel free to share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. And if you're finding it helpful, please consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Your support means a lot to us and helps us reach a wider audience and the content that you'll love. Let's continue this journey together. The two-day Counter-Terrorism Summit, supported by the United Nations, was also attended by the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki Mahamat, and he said that the moment has come to work out an all-encompassing continental strategic plan of action to effectively fight against terrorism across Africa. Tinubu and Faki also urged the international community to do more in supporting Africa's fight against terrorism, as he said that we cannot understand that elsewhere in the world, coalitions to fight against terrorism were established, and that similar efforts are not made in at least one of the 5 regions in Africa where the destructive phenomenon is destroying human lives, infrastructures, and institutions. Why our voices are not heard and heeded. Voronkov urged those present at the summit, which includes 4 presidents, 10 ministers, and 8 national security advisors from 29 African member states, to support the United Nations joint appeal for counterterrorism in Africa. However, with terrorism seemingly only gaining power in the Sahel in recent years, Chairperson of the African Union, AU, stated that we cannot understand that United Nations missions continue to absorb every year billions of dollars, producing very modest results, and that African states are not granted a minimum of resources to counter the tragic spread of terrorism. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu further said that terrorism is an imported evil and a burden to the African continent. Tinubu said that billions of funds that should to be used for healthcare, education, and infrastructure development in the continent. But unfortunately, those funds are spent annually for the acquisition of weapons to fight terrorists. He further said that we must tell this imported evil that wants to bend and break us that it shall do neither. Instead of making us bow, we shall banish it. He said terrorists seek to raise dictatorship on the continent and uproot democracy and obstruct peace, stability, and socio-economic activities of many nations in the continent. He urged African leaders to address poverty and improve education, in addition to the military approach to countering terrorism. The Nigerian leader also asked his colleagues in the region to focus on illegal mining for terrorism financing. Those who think illegal mining has no connection with financing terrorism are sorely mistaken. The international community has both the moral and legal obligation to help in this cause because it is external finance, not African money, that fuels these illegal operations. Tinubu painted a grim picture of how proceeds from the illegal mining of precious minerals and resources in Africa are diverted to support the malicious agendas of terrorist groups. During the African meeting on counterterrorism, Amina Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, proposed a strategy to combat terrorism in Africa. She highlighted the significance of Africa rebuilding its social contract with its citizens and ensuring good governance as a way to address the fundamental causes of terrorism on the continent. Amina also worried the need to prioritize the support and healing of women, girls, and youth who are disproportionately affected by terrorism. Terrorism remains a persistent global threat to international peace and security, with a significant impact on various regions, particularly in Africa. The increase in terrorism in Africa, particularly in the Sahel region, is alarming. The meeting will focus on analyzing the current threats, preventing them, enhancing capacity, and fostering international cooperation to better address terrorism in Africa. What do you think that there could be the result of this summit? Or terrorism will go the same way as it has been going for years? For your information, this time UN has also stepped in along with other nations to fight against this evil. So there seems to be no chance of African leaders neglecting terrorism and enjoying on the African looted money known as corruption. What do you think? Let us know your opinions in the comments section. And don't forget to share the video and like and click on the subscribe button as well for remaining updated of the current trends in this fast-paced modern world. Until next video, stay tuned.